We are live. We are
We
back
are
on.
live.
We're back on with another show of What Were You Thinking? In you and I, it seems like we always have a twist in this show. Like
For sure.
when I, it's usually the guest, but this time it's the host. It's you.
Right. It's
The
like
good.
payback to Mike for his bad Wi-Fi last time.
I have a hunch. Mike has like super fast Wi-Fi. He's just chilling. He's at the hotel. He's
Okay.
already eaten. He's all good.
Okay. Okay.
So
We'll find out if he's a
so
veteran.
here's
That's a veteran.
here that is a veteran move right there. So to let everybody know, obviously you are Jessica Beard, and a
Yes.
how many times have you been world champion? By the way, I was looking this up, and I wanted to get my numbers right, but I wasn't sure if they were
Yes.
right.
So the way that they officially announce it is like if you a lot of time, which is kind of strange how they pick and choose when they're going to, count medals. Like if you ran in the finals, most of the time they say, "Oh, you're a one-time, you're a two-time state." I mean, so I'm gonna say state champ. Oh, I think about the state meet. I must have saw something. You're a
You're cutting in
champion,
and out.
but
You're
I've
cutting in and
actually.
out like Mike. You're
Oh,
cutting in and out like.
oh
No, you're
no.
back now. You're back now.
Okay,
But
yay.
so is it five-time world champ or is it more than that? Do I have that number wrong?
It's five because I have
Yeah.
one silver from 2015. Yeah, so it's five.
So to the point of the
Don't
viewers
ask
is we have another legend in the room today, right? In the chat, in the live stream. And hey, did you know, by the way, this is our 31st episode?
I didn't know that.
31. That's pretty good.
Yes,
We're,
it
we kind of
is.
we,
It's
we
pretty
kind of been
exciting.
around the block a little bit. Yeah.
I'm
The so
very excited.
we got Devin Allen is taking the day off. I think you're going to run into him. I think he's out at Mount Sac.
Yes, he's running the 100.
Yeah. So he's like throwing a curveball on that. Who knows? He might even pop in today. We don't know. Brandon Miller is in transit. I think he's going to try to do something special this weekend. So that's going on. But I did want to do. I want to see if you can guess what these numbers are. I'm just going to start rattling off. This is like a quiz before we bring Mike on. Here we go. 2012, 2013, 2015, 2013, 2014, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2009, 2009, 2010, 2013, 2013, 2018, 2019, 2015, 2019, 2019, 2016, 2016, 2016, 2018, 2019. What do you think I just rattled off?
When he was ranked top 10 in the world.
Well, you're probably right on that too. But from what I could tell, those were all his wins.
Oh wow,
That's a lot of wins.
that is.
As he, I think, likes to say, that's a lot of bags.
Yes,
He likes to go get them bags. I know that.
yes.
So before we bring him on, so what do you guys? You guys are driving around. You're obviously heading to the hotel.
We're looking for
What
food.
you're looking for food. You're like on a desperate hunt for food. So we probably will end up in a parking lot at like Applebee's or something. Is what you're telling me.
We're trying to find a Cheesecake Factory parking lot, but Applebee's is like next best.
All right, there's two free shout outs to new brand sponsors. We just What do you think? Should we bring Mike in? I think maybe we should bring him in.
Yes. And
All right. And you noticed, Jess, we're going with the old platform today. We'll have a new
okay,
release probably for the next show. So
okay.
so let's bring Mike in let's see what's happening. He's Mike, how you doing, man? There you are.
Man, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Fine. Like y'all.
Can you hear me okay, Mike?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, awesome. So first question: have you eaten already? Because Jess is just driving in circles.
Yeah, I had some burrito tacos. Yeah, I just had that. They were good. I ate and I'm full, so I'm ready to get some treatment now so I can lay down.
You can't go to
Jess
bed
has got.
and run later. Days. You got to try to stay up.
Nope. Get out of my sleep. This old man need all that rest.
So, Mike, did you know you couldn't hear me, but I was rattling off all what I think is the list of all your wins. Do you know how many wins that you have in your career?
I don't. How many?
It's like 24 from what I could tell.
24?
Yeah,
That's a
it might
lot.
be more than that. It might be, that's kind of a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot
There,
of
there's
wins.
there's a lot of professionals that will go their whole career without getting a handful,
Yeah, those wins don't come easy, especially in the 100.
right? So tell me, both you guys are in the same town. I'm the only one that's not there. Tell me what's happening this weekend.
So we're here in Walnut, and we are racing at Mount Sac Relays this weekend. There's a lot of pros that are here. They're going to run open events, season openers in 200s, 100s, 400s. And we're also having a mini relay camp for one, so you guys should be happy for, the USA that we are actually practicing handoffs. Round of applause for that. So, yeah, it's a big weekend for us.
So Jess, what do you think about that?
He said a lot there. So he not lying. It's a lot of people who feel like, and I don't think they're just fans. Even some of the athletes realize that it's better when we all can get together and practice. We can
So
practice and
when you guys
get
are
things done.
practicing relays, from just like a fan's point of view, in theory, it doesn't seem that hard to get that baton around the track. But I would imagine it's harder in the 100 because you guys are coming right up on each other really quick. So what's the biggest problem in moving that baton around the track?
Well, the thing is, a lot of people haven't really did handoffs with real speed. And pro speed, college speed, and high school speed is totally different. Like you have a guy coming in like 28 miles an hour, and you gotta kind of like find a stride pattern, see when he's gonna hit the tape, and take off on time. A lot of people can't do that.
Jess, what do you think? What's the key for you? Same thing?
Yes, I think it's speed, but and in addition to what Mike said, it's also about chemistry. If you people, like he said, but they are not used to running into each other, they're not used to handing each other the baton, they're not used to receiving the baton, then it becomes even more difficult. So now you're not familiar with someone. I think especially for the 4x1, I've only done a few, um, like in college. You have to trust the person. You have to trust them. You have to trust that, if they leave early, you want to avoid people leaving early. You want to avoid people leaving late. Some of those things have to do with chemistry. And so what Mike was saying about speed, I agree 1,000%. And I just like to add the component of chemistry. So think if it's very fast and you don't have chemistry with someone, I mean, that's kind of like a disaster waiting to happen.
Do you guys know right now who's on your relay team with you?
Tomorrow for this weekend,
Yeah.
we won't know till tomorrow. We're practicing handoffs tomorrow. We haven't had a meeting yet. Everybody just really just got here,
All right. All
so
right.
who
I was just
knows?
gonna say, I was just gonna say, if chemistry's so important, you guys should be flying together. You guys should be handing off.
I think
You know,
training, you people, it's great to have the relay, but you have so many people say, I don't want to break up my training for this. I don't want to break up my individual chances of winning a medal for a relay. And it's about trying to find a happy medium, I think.
I mean, hopefully it
I
goes
think
smooth because A lot of us have 2 rounds that are 200 on Saturday. So, and then the 4x1 is like maybe 20 to 28 minutes after that. So hopefully, yeah, that's the short recovery. So if you ain't training, they can be like, I'm gonna pass.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna
hopefully,
you might get some guys dropping out.
yeah. Then what if you PR in the 100 in the finals? They can be like, oh no, I'm not running no relay, not this early in the season. No money involved. So I mean, I
You
don't know.
know,
We'll
Mike,
see.
there's prize money for the relays.
It is, but I mean that's gonna have to be understood before we get on that line because the 100 is way more important.
For sure. You gotta put
But
your shit in.
I don't even know how many teams we're running or anything like that. So I guess we'll
I
find out tomorrow
four
at
by,
the meeting.
when I look there for the 4x4, there's like 4 or 5 teams.
Mm.
So there's like 3 USA relays and then like Bobby Kersey All Stars I saw. So and then it's one other. I think it might be 4 or 5 for us. I didn't look at the 4x1s because your girl, them days is long gone.
How are you going to break that up? How are you guys going to decide who's on what team? Who's deciding that, Jess?
Man, to be honest, we really
The
don't
relay.
know. I don't even know who's all here. Um, just looking at the start list of the 100, I probably ran on a 4x1 with only maybe one or two of them. So these are all new faces, all new chemistry being built on whatever team that I'll be on for sure.
And Jess, do you have any idea how those teams will be picked?
I don't know how they'll exactly be picked, but I know it's based on the relay coach Michelle and how she I guess what she's looking for different legs. And so I'm sure some athletes will say, "Oh, I prefer this type of leg," but I'm sure she's gonna say, I want to see you run X, Y, and Z. I think it just comes down to what the relay coach is looking for and what she she has planned or is trying to put together for the big picture.
Got it. And Mike, let's take a step back a little bit. We ask this question a lot. Uh, Give us your life story in 60 seconds.
60
Jess,
seconds.
you got the stopwatch? Jess, you got your watch?
Get the stopwatch out. All right, ready, go. Hi, I'm Mike Rodgers. I'm a 100-meter sprinter, but I was originally a 400-meter runner. I went to Berkeley High School. I went to Iowa State. I got kicked out for getting recruited illegally. Went to Lindenwood, played basketball, walked on the track team, ran the 60 and the 400 there, but I was mainly 400-meter specialist. Ran 46.3 indoors, 45.8 outdoors, transferred to Oklahoma Baptist, converted to the 100, ran 10.06 at conference, went pro, and signed with Nike, and here I am.
What's our time, Jess? Jess may have froze. She's in line for getting something to eat. So Mike, let's do your life story and strip away all the athletics. Give us your life story that with no sports and no athletics in it. Ready? Go.
Ready, go. Okay, I'm Mike Rodgers. I love music. I'm a DJ. I DJ all types of music, Latin, R&B, hip hop, country, whatever. I'm also a father of three, Micah, Braylon, and Amari. Ages 4, 6, and 10. So yeah, that's about it. Other than track.
That's pretty good. I remember I met you, I think it was right before the Olympics in 2016. We were doing a shoot with Natasha Hastings, and your little boy was with you, and it was about 100 and some degrees.
Oh yeah, it
and
was
he
cooking.
and he was running around with bottles of water. And but so is speed like in the family? Are all your little ones gonna be track stars as well?
You know what? The only one who's running track right now is Amari. He loves it. The other two don't like it. Braylon said it's too hot
Really?
outside. Micah says it's too hot outside. But I was like, but Braylon likes football and he likes baseball. So right now, those are the two sports he's playing. My daughter, she loves soccer, but Amari loves track and he loves basketball. So they're totally opposite of me, really.
That's so funny, right? No matter how much you want to impart a little bit of you into your kids will just be their own their own people.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm like, you know what? I don't have to go out there just yet, but I know eventually they'll run. They just venturing off and doing their own thing right now.
Yeah, yeah. How did you get into DJing, by the way?
You know, I was around a lot of producers in high school, a lot of big DJs in high school. I went to high school with um, Sean Kingston's DJ. His name is DJ Twin. I went to high school with Jib's DJ, um, Baby Huey's DJ. A lot of artists, like a lot of my friends were like DJing overseas at 13, 14 years old. So, you know, I got to see the best of everything when I was growing up. So I was always around some type of music.
So it was just kind of natural for you. Just
Yeah, it's kind of natural. And then I was like, hey, I seen the money these guys were getting doing it. So I end up teaching myself, learning on my own, and getting a few points from them. And I end up being good myself, and it worked out.
you know, we had I don't know if you saw the show that we did with Benji Alexander, a Winter Olympian for Jamaica. He's the only downhill skier ever to make the Olympics for Jamaica.
Mm.
And just this last year, he actually just took up skiing not that long ago. And
Wow.
but before that, he's like a pretty famous DJ. I think he just went by Benji Alexander. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he was like a super famous DJ that kind of put it all aside and was like, trying to raise awareness on, um, you know, kind of non-traditional sports in a country like Jamaica, because
Mhm.
again, no downhill skiers, but uh, I just thought like it was an interesting mix. It's like DJ Jamaica downhill skiing.
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole lot right there.
One of those things doesn't fit.
Especially downhill skiing. I don't know nothing about downhill skiing. Being Jamaican, I don't even know where he even saw snow at. Like that's
I think it was his DJing. So he
oh
would
yeah,
be at
really?
all these big parties all over the world and stuff, and then someone
Mm.
was like in some winter setting, he's like, "You should go skiing with us." And before you know it, well, actually, the next time we get him on, because I'm going to have him host the show, I want to bring you on that show because I bet you
Okay.
guys would have some really cool stories
Yeah,
to
great talk.
tell.
Yeah. A lot
The
of dialogue.
So if you weren't a sprinter, what kind of sport would you be into? What would you have
I lo-
gone pro in?
You know, my love is football. I was a blue chip prospect in high school, one of the top receivers in high school at my position. So I actually went to Iowa State to play football and run
Really?
track. So I had a half and half scholarship. Time I went to school, Seneca Wallace was the quarterback. So I was getting the ball during, the fall and all the preparation in the summer. And then spring game came and then this situation happened. So I didn't end up getting to start my collegiate career. And the first game would have been against Iowa. It was the Iowa State game. 'Cause I was pretty pumped up
Wow.
for that. Yeah.
So then after that, you just kind of never went back to football?
Yeah, I never went back. I played basketball when I went to Lindenwood, and I run track too. So they didn't have a football team at Lindenwood when I was there, but they end up getting one after I transferred, which sucked because I would have went back to football if they would have had football while I was there.
So, like one thing that I've noticed is that I'm really curious to hear this from you. Like, it seems as though almost every athlete that I've met, like that is at this level, either has a sibling who is an athlete, a mom, a dad, somebody close to them that competed at some high level in some sport. Do you come from a really athletic family?
I really do. Everyone in my family plays sports or went to college to play sports. Actually, my real dad was really, really, really good in basketball. And my stepfather, he was really, really good in basketball. I had two uncles that were really, really good in track, and my mom actually was a great hurdler. And then my
Really?
aunt, yeah, my aunt was a good basketball player, and my grandfather and one of my uncles were great boxers. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. So we had a little of everything. Everybody could do a little bit of everything.
So how much of that do you think is like it's the old nature or nurture? Like how much of that is just like DNA that's passed down and it's like you just got athletic genes and how much is that kind of learned and taught and honed?
I think it was just more of the genes, and then I just stayed a little more focused and disciplined than they did. So I got further than they did. Um, I feel like now, like my siblings, I have like cousins, and right now that are really, really good in sports, and I think they have the discipline I have. So they're probably like fill my shoes like when I'm done.
What do you think? I mean, you've had such like an amazingly like prolific career over a long period of time as well. What do you think it takes to be the greatest?
I think just being hungry and just staying in the moment. Sometimes, people get the money and they just like, oh man, I don't have to work as hard. But, if you like your bank account being a certain way, if you like the car you drive or the home that you have, you got to stay hungry to maintain and keep those things. And not only that, now I have kids. So I got three bodies to take care of and they're counting on me. So, I mean, that keeps me motivated as well.
I was gonna put up some of the some of the training videos that you sent along here. Let me try to find some of these. Um, I guess this is from where is this from, Mike? Do you remember this
It's
video? Can you
actually
see it?
from Madrid before the final,
That's
before
right.
the indoor world tour final.
One of the things I noticed in the content that you put out is it seems like I don't know. It seems like you obviously everybody trains a lot. There's something about the way that you train, or maybe it's just you're putting it out there for more of us to see it. Um, do you love training?
I love training, but I also like a challenge. So on those training videos in the weight room, that's actually a new weight coach that I have this year. I felt that like my old weight coach, like he challenged me to as much as he could to his knowledge. So
Right.
this weight coach I am with now, I actually was with them in 2015,
Really?
and they came back to Austin just recently. So I'm back with that coach now. So I'm back doing what I was doing in 2015. I think 2015 was probably my best season in my eyes.
Well, I'm look back on 2015. You had a good number. Well, Madrid was one of your wins in 2015. The in Monaco 4x100 relay, you had a win there as well. The so in terms of training, like when you switch like that to a new coach, is it you're looking for something specific, or is it you're looking to get to another level? Like what is it that makes you switch, and then what's the purpose of that switch?
I mean, the purpose of the switch is I'm looking to take it to another level. Once your body's so used to doing something over and over and over again, you're like, okay, how can I get better? So when you veer away from something that you wasn't doing as much, or your body needs something that somebody else isn't doing, it needs change at some time. I feel like I lost a little strength. I lost a lot of balance, especially like last year. I didn't really get to train like I did. I had an Achilles injury last year, so I had a stem
Mm,
cell shot in my Achilles. So before trials, I didn't train at all. I trained maybe a week and a half,
wow.
and I tried to go to Europe to see where I was. I ran 10-0. I went to France and ran 10-0 like late in the year, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's getting in shape." No, I was just getting healthy enough to sprint at full speed, but I wasn't fit. So I flew from France actually straight to Eugene. No
Wow.
practice, no anything. I didn't even see my coach before Olympic trials at all because I couldn't run. I was just injured, and I just had to sit down when I took that stem cell shot. So I just took a wild swing. I said, hey, maybe I can make the team. But after that first round, I was like, you know what? Maybe I can make the final. Then those guys were so far ahead of me in races and fitness, I couldn't do anything with them last year. So this year, took a different approach, went and got stronger, and I'm going to get my races in early because trials is earlier this year. So
That's
I
right.
want to see where I'm at. So hopefully this weekend I can see where I'm at and make some adjustments.
The this is probably, I don't know, if this is a question that you've been asked a million times, which I'm sure it is, but I still need to ask it. What keeps you going? Like, to be sprinting at the age that you're sprinting, D2 will calls you like father time. He's like, this guy just keeps going, you know. So what is it that keeps you going and keeps you, competing at such a high level at an age that, you know, not too many people have done it, you know?
You know what, Bob? I'm missing one thing. I don't have an individual 100-meter medal at the World Champs or Olympics. I have every other medal but that.
Wow.
So I don't want to retire unless I get one of those. I get one of those, I'll be happy. And that's what's
So, all
keeping me
right.
going.
So this is interesting because I love talking to all you guys because I'm always getting nuggets for myself, along the way. And it's like, so it's that one singular focus, right? This is what you're saying, right? Is this one singular focus of a thing that I'm missing, that if you don't complete that, then it's not like your career's a failure, but it's not the success that you wanted it to be.
Hey, Bob, can you cut your volume up? I can't really hear you.
Yeah, for some reason I can hear you okay. I didn't
Yeah,
change
I can't
anything on
hear
my
you.
end. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Is that better? Okay. All right. Yeah, so that's the one thing that's motivating you, right? I mean, that there's like a singular thing that's keeping you going.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a singular thing. And it's like, you know how you, like, oh, I want to go out on top. I want to go out with the bang. That's my bang. And that's like what I want at the most. If I don't, I know I went out hard trying my best to get it done. The 100 now is like, it's so deep in talent. When I first came in the sport, I feel like the 100 was like this. When Tyson and Asafa was running 9.7, and then Boat came along. So those like maybe 4 or 5 to 6 years, my first year in the sport, like the 100 was outrageous. It was tough to get a medal. Like you had to break almost a world record or American record to even medal. So I feel like the 100 is getting back to that now that it's so deep. Like even in Africa, France, let's like we got the Italian guys, the fastest guy in the world right now. Like that wasn't even thought of when I
Right.
came in the sport. It was either American or Jamaican. So the tides have turned, and the rest of the country is starting to catch up with what the Americans are doing.
So how much of how you race is related to who you're racing against? Is that even a factor at all? Or is it you just running your race and that's all there is to it?
So us sprinters, we scope out our competition like every year. Like, oh man, this guy ran fast already. So what can I do different to try to gauge him? Because eventually you're gonna have to race him. So I think me personally, now that I'm older, is to race more high quality races than to waste a rep going to a low quality race, winning, and you're not really, testing out what you can really do. Because now it's like you'll go to a race and it'll be 5 guys just as fast as you now, and any one of them can win either day. So it's like you have to pick and choose who you racing, when you racing, and make sure it's quality instead of doing the quantity of the race, especially in the outdoor season, because you can go somewhere and run 9.8 and your body will probably won't bounce back for a couple days or a couple weeks. I'm a little older now, so if I run fast now, I'm gonna have to sit down longer to recover.
That's the thing that fascinates me with the sprints, especially the 100 in particular, where harnessing all of that um, talent, energy, focus, um discipline, reaction time, like all of that into one tiny moment. How do you do that?
Man, this you gotta have razor sharp focus in 100. I can't even lie about that because the race
So
goes different
what
every
does
day.
that mean, Mike? What does that mean when you say laser sharp focus? Because I get it conceptually, but what exactly does it mean? Like when so are you saying all along in the lead up to it, or are you saying? I mean, walk
Because
me through that.
it's so many distractions in a 100-meter race. Like, okay, say for instance, we're at the starting line. Boom, the guns goes off. You're in lane 4. And then it's like sometimes you can lose focus because people can get out so fast and just mess up your whole race and you panic and then your race is going to bits. So you have to focus on execution every time because the race is always different. Because one time you may have that race to start, race is sharp start, and people got to play catch up. So you have to stay composed to run from the front. And that's one thing I'm not good at is running from the front because I get next. So I like just being in the mix and then executing from there. That's my thing. But if I get a start, I'll be like, oh man, what am I gonna do? So sometimes I tend to panic when that happens.
So you wanna kind of be just good enough out of the block so you're in the mix. That's what you're looking to do.
Oh man, where you go?
You hear me now, or did I drop out for you? I can see you just fine, Mike. Can you still hear me? I can still hear you or see you. You're not hearing me at all? Let's see if we can figure this out, everybody. All right, Mike is going to try to reboot, and he'll pop back in here in a sec. This is what happens. This is the show that we're producing. Athletes all over the world and on all sorts of devices. We get so spoiled, don't we, with technology that is perfect. Um, and but here we are, and I just think this is a fascinating conversation with Mike. Here we're with Mike Rodgers. Um, in case you're just joining us now, one of the USA's great sprinters, one of the great sprinters of all time. Um, a guy that's had a lot of wins in his career, super competitive, still at an age where he's getting up there a little bit. But I just thought it was really some really interesting stuff where he's kind of digging into the idea of really being razor sharp and what exactly that means. Um, and I love trying to figure out what does it take to be the greatest? What does it take to harness all that focus and all that talent and all that energy for one little moment in time? And this is what these men and women are constantly doing, which I'm always fascinated with. So let's see. Looks like Mike is back. Are you back, Mike?
Yeah, I'm back.
I can see you.
Yes.
We're back. So I was just kind of thinking about it and talking about it. This idea of that, that focus and being razor sharp, and so in that, sub 10 seconds, there's a lot going on, right? I mean, so in your mind, like, are you processing all that as you're going, or is it more like it happened, the race is over, and you're then thinking back to what just happened?
Yeah, exactly what you just said. You're running the race and you be like, oh man, I could have did this, I could have did that, or I should have did this, should have did that. And you'll go back and look at it like, oh man, I just messed the whole race up.
I remember, yeah. I mean, this Noah Lyles did a breakdown of some of his races. I think it was last year or maybe the year before. That was really interesting. And there was one race, I think, I don't remember everyone who was in it, but I remember Christian Coleman was ahead of him. I think it was a 200, maybe, I can't remember, but he broke down the stride that Coleman took that was just got a little bit out ahead of his hips. And basically, he said, when I saw his stride go out too far, I knew I had him. Um, and it just, again, I'm a complete just layman fan, but I guess it makes sense that if you're, that's slowing you down, right? I mean, if your feet and legs are too far in front of you, you're actually slowing yourself down rather than speeding up or
Yeah,
maintaining
because
speed.
you're breaking that frequency and that cadence, and you start to get long and reach. You're not going nowhere.
How much harder
And
is it for you? How tall are you, Mike, by the way?
I'm 5'9", but I run like I'm like maybe 6'2", 6'3".
I know this is what I'm getting. I was going to ask. So do you have kind of a stride that's similar to someone taller than you, or is it your turnover is so much greater and more efficient? Like how are you able to maintain get and
I
maintain
think
that
my
speed?
stride length and the power, and I can hold it. That's the difference between me and sprinters my size. Because there's a lot of sprinters that's like my height, but they're like more frequency runners, and they're like spin out a lot earlier than me. But me, I get going as the race goes. I think I have a little frequency when it comes to start. If I get a good start, I'll have the frequency, but once I get to opening up, that's when I'm most dangerous and at my best.
And then just kind of switching it up a little bit. What are the favorite places around the world that you've traveled? What are like the two or three
Man, you
favorite
know
ones?
what? I always say London, Monaco, and stuff like that. But last year was my first time going to Africa. I loved Nairobi. Nairobi was a great experience.
That was
That was
pretty cool
the
to see some
Yeah,
of
that
your
was the first time,
post.
I got to be in person with a lion and see monkeys in person and stuff like that. That was amazing. And go to like the little tribal stuff and see them carve stuff out. That was a great experience. I'm actually going back for that meet
Are you
this
re-
year. Yes.
were you able to bring your kids at all with you?
Yes.
You did.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. What
Yeah.
did
So
were they kind of freaking out about it, seeing animals
yeah,
that
they
close?
were kind of freaking out about it, but I mean they got done. And then it's just different. Like the hospitality in Kenya was very, very like first class. I can say that. They're very hospitable, like in everything we do, like from the food to if we needed something and stuff like that. And I wasn't expecting the stadium to be that nice either. The stadium was really, really nice, and it's a fast track, so
Really?
I'm going back.
So when is that meet?
May 7th.
May 7th. All right. All right. The isn't it interesting though, wherever you travel, it usually comes back to the people that you meet, right? That really shape your experience, you know?
Yeah.
So you've been to the Olympics twice, right, Mike?
Yes.
Two-time Olympian. What are the big moments that you can think of? On one hand, what are the big moments that you think of and remember when you think of the Olympics? And on the other hand, what's a moment that you remember that you maybe haven't told a lot of people, or it was kind of like the insider thing that nobody talked about, but you're like, this is a memory I have of my Olympic experiences.
Well, I know in 12 it wasn't very memorable because I had to go home early because I broke my foot. That was terrible. But in 16, I think going to the USA men's basketball game before we went to the games and we're on the floor and we were right behind the bench and got to go in the locker room and kick it with the players and stuff like that. That was a great experience. I liked that a lot. And then the first time I met Michael Phelps as well, before the opening ceremony, he was a cool guy, So I liked hanging with him for a little bit too, before the opening
What are
ceremony in 16 in Rio.
what are two great athletes that you guys talk about? What are you guys talking about?
Man, it's crazy because we don't even talk about sports. It'd be like about random stuff because it'd be like so much hype and so much gossip before the game. So you'd be asking about that stuff, like, man, this really true? Like, man, what really happened? And like they'll tell you the real story. It'd be pretty cool, man, just to see them, outside of their element. and that's the best part about the Olympics. Seeing the pro athletes outside of the element, outside of track and basketball and gymnastics and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people don't really realize too, kind of that part of the sport where you're, and I mean, this in the Olympics, obviously, it's athletes from all different sports together, but the way that you guys travel, you know, you're obviously, hanging out with some of your competitors and going sightseeing and going to dinner and all that kind of stuff. And it's just to me, I found it like a really cool part of the sport of track and field.
Yeah. So also in 2016, we went. Oh, we went to Bolt's birthday party. Yeah, as a team, and that was pretty fun. In Rio, that was a good time, and that party ended up being on TMZ actually the next morning. So that was a good time as well, man. That was a good time. Rio was fun.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. The At the end of the show, though, we got a few more minutes together, but I do want to come back because I was going to ask you about your broken foot. I want to come back to that at the very end. But who are some of your heroes, both in life in general, but then in athletics as well?
What did you say? I couldn't hear you. You kind of low again.
Uh, I was asking who are some of your heroes in both in life in general and in athletics?
I can't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
You couldn't hear me there. How about
Mm-mm.
now? Is that any better? I said I'll unplug and replug. Is that any better?
Nah, that sounds like a
How's that,
robot.
Mike? I don't know. We were doing so well. And Jess is texting me going, I don't have service. It's trying to load. Can you hear me now or no?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit.
Who are, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it in the chat. And you can read it out of the chat.
Okay, let me see. Yeah.
We're going old school. I just dropped it in the chat. In the chat.
Ah man, my heroes. My hero is my grandfather, TJ Rodgers. I felt like my grandfather could do anything. When I would say anything, I thought he was Superman when I was growing up. So yeah, my grandfather TJ. That's my hero.
That's super cool. Can you hear me now or no?
Yeah,
Oh, you can hear me now.
yeah, I can hear you now.
That's amazing. So, was it what was it about your grandpa that you know made you feel that way about him?
Man, just how much he catered to people because he was a pastor. He's retired now, but he was a pastor and how much he did for the community and stuff like that, and other kids, that wasn't able. Like he was like a big father figure for the community, and I seen that in him and the stuff that he was doing to go do or go help families with. I thought he was like Superman. Some of the stuff that he did. So I got to see and experience that when I was little.
That's amazing. And then in sports, who are some of the athletes that you really looked up to?
Man, I like. I'm a Dwayne Wade fan. I like Dwayne Wade. I like Kobe, man, because his focus, and I'm a LeBron fan. I like Tom Brady with a championship mentality. Yeah, man, those are some athletes, that you see that have been in the sport for a long time, or was in the sport for a long, or still going. A lot of track athletes been calling me the Tom Brady of our sport because I've been
I
around for so long at a high level, and I'm still here.
I
I've
think
seen athletes come and seen athletes go.
I mean think about how many you've seen generations of athletes at this point.
Right, right, right.
Some of the young guys out there? Just dawned on me as you're saying that. Who are some of the young guys out there that you think have a big upside and are doing some cool things?
Man, that Knighton kid's gonna be special. Um, I think a couple of collegians will be good. That Cherokee Parks girl. Um, the guy from Florida, the 200-meter guy. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's gonna be
I don't either.
he's gonna be
Family.
good. Fabulate. I think that's his name, his last name. I think he's gonna be special. I think I think just all the sprinters that are coming up now, from Marvin Bracey to Trayvon Bromell to Noah Lyles to Christian Coleman, all those guys. The future of the sport is bright. I mean, it's the first time that I've been in my whole career that I've seen the sprinters stick around from their generation. Because usually they'll be in and out in a year or two. But these guys, has figured it out. Fred has figured it out. Michael Norman, those guys. Like, this is a whole different crew. And they're going to have longevity in the sport because of how they approach it.
Hey, Jess, I don't know, you probably weren't able to hear anything, but we've been talking about lots of different things. I've been asking a lot of questions because, I had to.
I don't know what happened. I was like, first you were gone, Bob, and then Mike was gone. I was like, is that me why they're gone, or are they both gone?
It's always you.
Okay. I got it now.
So, Jess, you have, I want to hear some of the questions that you have from Mike, because I know I love hearing athletes talking to athletes and getting some insights from you guys.
So just asking Mike about, well, one thing I was curious about as far as the relay was concerned, like from the Olympics, did you feel that the uproar that you guys had about the exchange zone was a reason why they changed the rule, or do you feel like, I guess I always kind of just wondered about that, like, because it felt like all of us were saying that didn't matter,
Yeah,
that.
so in meter before the triangle, like how could you like by the eye see a centimeter before the exchange zone and DQ us? Like, they had to change their rule. Like, it's not a fair advantage with that. So I knew they was gonna change their rule after that. Like, that was a whole big deal, big ordeal.
And then I want to ask about just running the 4x1 in the relays. I've been on 5 world championship teams, and so when I look at the men's 4x1 and just the different lineups that there have been, what's a lineup if you could run with any three other 100-meter or 200-meter people, if you come on with just three, whether 400 other runners, and it's just like your magical 4x1 relay US runners, who would you
I mean, right
choose?
now, this day and age, or back in the day, or
No,
just
your all time. So I mean, it's like
woo.
there can, yeah, all time, just your 4x1. Like, I'm lining up, it's me and these three other guys, and we can take whoever. Like, who you going with?
Man, I would go with Boat, probably Tyson Gay, um, Asafa, Boat, and me.
Right. I was gonna say you have
There you
to.
go.
So, and what's the relay order? What order are you putting the legs? What order?
Man, I would run me out the hole.
Okay.
Okay. I would probably run Asafa second, Tyson third, and Boat on anchor.
I'm typing this in the chat in case we want to get this going at some point. I'm going to type it in so we remember. All right, it's Mike and the lead leg, Bolt anchor, but we have Asafa and Tyson. All right.
And then if you had a relay, it could only be American athletes, you and what three others ever. Just, but it can only be three.
Whew. Man, that's tough. I would probably say, like, right now, if they're active, I probably would pick me, Christian Coleman, probably Fred and Marvin Bracey or Trayvon. That would be like my team.
And then you got to put it in. You got to put the lineup out there. What's the lineup?
I'm gonna put it in the
Man, I
chat
probably
again.
would
This
let
is good.
Marvin or Trayvon lead off.
You got to choose one, man. This is the finals.
Ooh,
You
I
got
don't
to
know.
choose.
All right, I would let. Actually, I would let Christian lead off.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I would run Fred on the backstretch, and then I would run Trayvon on third and me on anchor. Yeah.
Okay. Come on. So
So
you
wait a
went from
minute. If
first to anchor.
you're
Yeah.
anchoring that one, wait a minute. Who was running the second leg?
Fred Curley.
Oh, and who was third? Trayvon.
Yep.
That's a pretty good relay team.
Yeah.
What do you think the hardest relay? What do you think the hardest leg is, or the leg that
Third,
gets the third? And why is that?
because you got to stand at an awkward position to receive the baton, and you got to judge somebody coming full speed at you running, and you have to go into a curve running full speed.
Hmm.
When I tell you it's tough, because that was my first time ever doing it in 2019 World Championships,
Hmm.
and we broke the American record.
And it wasn't like none of the other legs. It wasn't as.
Mm-mm. Nope. Nope.
Mm-mm.
I think
Okay.
I've gotten better at it now because I done had a little practice, but in Doha I was clueless.
It's just out there. But y'all still broke the American record.
We did, but that just shows you I'm versatile. Like I've ran every leg at either a World Championships, World Relays, or Olympics. I've experimented on the leg.
Which leg is your
Hey,
favorite?
I actually like second leg. I like it.
Why is that?
I
What's
like
it?
second leg. I like anchor too, because you get all the cool pitches. I like anchor. I feel like first leg don't get enough credit. They don't get the love that they deserve. Like you do all the dirty work on first leg. But yeah, I like second, but anchor get all the cool pitches. They get all the good videos, all the good reels, all that.
That is true.
what about you,
First,
Jess?
You said what?
I was gonna say I feel like who was it? Ashley Henderson. What leg was she running? That was second leg that they got that reel out there, and she like her hair is blowing in the wind.
Nah,
Um, no.
first leg is all the dirty work. Second leg benefits off everything out the first leg does, and third leg really don't do anything but either maintain or extend the lead if you have a good exchange. That second and third exchange dictates if you're gonna win that relay. Unless you
Hmm.
just got a superhuman on the anchor. But if you got a smooth second and third exchange, you can pretty much seal the deal on the relay.
But
Hmm.
Mike, does that only apply to the 100, or is it the 400 as well?
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me, Jess?
Yes,
So do you think Jess, it applies to the 100 and the 400?
I think a smooth baton exchange is important. I think it's very important that the outgoing runner is aware of the incoming runner, how they look. Are they coming in strong? Do they look a little fatigued? Can you take it out a couple steps? Different runners do. Some do the two steps, look back. Some always look. It, I think the exchange is very important, but more so in the 4x1 than in the 4x4. I think the biggest part of the 4x4 is when you are getting the baton that where do I go? At Indoor
Yeah.
World, I was just like, and I'm like, oh, people are running into me. And I want to move, but I'm like, is me moving going to cause even more friction somewhere else? And so I would say it's more about once you pass it off, are you running to the side? Are you running out? Where do you go once you pass it off for the 4x4 relay? And so yeah, I think it's definitely more critical in the 4x1, and I believe that based on looking at the different championships and things like that, we see a lot of smooth handoffs with they're fast, but somebody on their leg could be faster than them, but their handoff is what helps the transition. So yeah, what Mike was saying is it's really important for the handoff to be smooth. So a runner doesn't have to slow down, a runner doesn't have to stop or anything like that. So
Mike, can you hear us now? Can you hear
Yeah.
me? Okay. So as the fan watching, and the more I get to know you guys, I get nervous when I'm watching you guys race. But this sounds like the stupidest thing of all time. But when you grab the baton and then change hands, a lot of people do that, and that gets me nervous. I'm like, "Ooh, don't do that. What if you bump something in your own transfer?" I'm
I,
like,
Man, you could drop the baton.
a lot
You
could
could drop the
happen. You
baton and you lose precious. You lose precious moments or precious seconds with you switching the baton. Because I done seen somebody switch the baton before and they lost by that much at the line. Like,
I
I
think
Yeah,
it's
mean,
I
more
you
saw
got
important
Courtney
it's a
Akulah
lot
do
of
it.
relay.
stuff with a relay. You're able to run with the baton in your left hand. A lot of people can't do that.
It's so weird. It's I don't know how. Even when I ran the 4x1, thank God I was anchored. It's just automatic for me, and I don't know if that's because I've run so many 4x4s. It's automatic that I'm going to receive in my left, and I'm just switching it to my right. It's not something that I have to think about. It's not something that I have to worry about. It just happens, and it happened for me even in the 4x1 when I was in college. And a lot of athletes like, why are you switching your hand? I'm like, I wasn't even aware of it. I think it's way more important in the 4x1, like Mike said, to try to look, you just got to run with it in your left hand, even if it's awkward. So I think it depends. I think it depends on which relay, but for sure, because people hold it when you look at the 4x4, Florida holds the baton a certain way. It's very interesting to me. Baylor kind of holds the baton a certain way, some of their guy runners. And so I always kind of just look at how are they holding the baton. It's very interesting. It's like, how do I get the most out of this run? Like Mike said, for some people, they feel like how you hold it is, I mean, it could cost you this many centimeters or milliseconds or whatever. So
Do you guys like the mixed relay?
I love it. I loved it. My first time was the prelims in Doha. It was kind of scary having a guy come into me. I didn't know how. I knew to take off, but I'm like, a 49 coming into me versus a 45 coming into me. I've never had nobody's ever split 45. So it's not something that you can kind of simulate or anything like that. It's really just an experience. And I was just hoping I didn't leave him. And at the same time, he didn't run me over. And so I really enjoyed it and being able to watch each leg because I was second leg. I got to pass it off to Jazz and watching her pass it off to Obi. It was just an experience. Tyrell passed it to me from the first leg. I was like, this was so much fun. It was just so much fun. And not that the regular 4x4 is not fun, but this was just a different caliber of fun to me.
It
And
looks fun for the fan. Like for us,
yeah,
I think it's a great and I love even when when it was it Poland who mixed it
yeah,
up and right. I thought that was cool. Like it
yeah,
made it interesting.
yeah.
But then Michael Cherry looked like he was shot out of a cannon though when he's coming around. I think he was just like panicked. He's like, I'm
Balls to
not
the
gonna.
wall. Balls to the wall. It's like if she can catch me, if I'm dying, and that's how I look at. I cannot even imagine what the Polish runner was thinking, knowing that a guy was. All the men were coming. 7 men were coming to chase after her, and so for me, I can only imagine that. It has to be a thrill, but also scary. And it's like, how many seconds is enough for a man not to catch me? I mean, if I split 49, can a 43 still catch me? Probably so. So I pretty much need about 100-meter lead. I need to run 49, and I hope they can only run maybe 45, but you need such a large lead. I would love to see it though. I would love to see a female runner on the end not get caught, have that kind of a
Yeah.
lead where they don't get caught. So
We were talking about that mixed relay, Mike, and the Polish team and how they mixed up their order.
they talk about a mixed 4x1. What you think about that? Different people said they should have a mixed 4x1.
No, it's not possible. Too dangerous. Way too dangerous.
But a lot of orders, it could be female, female, male, male. It's different order. It doesn't
I
have to
think it
be
would.
male,
I think it
female.
would have to go female, female, male, male for it to work because that's coming into the female.
They say a lot of times they be like, oh, they left early. They could just leave early. They just leave.
Man, it'll be a disaster. Disaster. It'll be all bad. Yeah, I
Hey
don't know
Jess,
about that one.
I have a what were you thinking question for Mike. It looks like Jess froze up a little bit. So Mike, at the end of our shows, we ask a question about what were you thinking a certain moment, and the thing that I thought of two things. One was at the birth of your first child, and the other one was in 2012 when you broke your foot. So what were you thinking in those two moments, two very different moments, obviously?
Man, the birth of Braylon was crazy because I was so nervous. Oh, I was nervous. I was so nervous. I was just, man, please let this kid come out healthy because every complication that could have happened. She had to get what's that called when they had to make her water break? A vasectomy? What is that called?
When they break their water, yeah.
Yeah. So they had an emergency one. So he came out of preemie and all that. Like he was a little bitty baby. Like Braylon was little. So him being here, like just being healthy, like I was super nervous. And then me breaking my foot, I was like, man, this had happened at the wrong time. The wrong time. Olympics in London. Oh my God. Like I was depressed. When I tell you depressed when I got sent home, I was depressed. I was real
So
depressed.
let everyone know to walk us through like when exactly it happened and then what your
So
feeling
at
was.
trials, I ended up getting fourth in 100, but I broke it during the 100 at trials. So I was told it was plantar fasciitis. So I'm like, all right, okay, I'll just take some rest, get ready for my next race. But we had relay camp in Monaco. So during the race in Monaco, I was running on it, just pushing it and pushing it. And then I got an x-ray after that. I could barely walk after Monaco. I almost snapped my second metatarsal in half. So yeah, they sent me home and they flew Jeff Demps right on in, and he ran at the Olympics, and I'm at home on the couch looking like a bum. Yep, that's what happened.
Was that like the longest flight home ever, or what?
That was the longest flight home. I didn't get to go. I didn't get to go to opening ceremony, anything. I had to give like all my kids stuff back. Oh, I was hurt.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was hurt. I had to leave it for Jeff. Yep, I was hurt. So yeah, I was depressed. 2012.
Jess, do you have a what were you thinking question for Mike?
What were you thinking? Just talking about your foot. What were you thinking as far as you said you were depressed about therapy, not for your mind, but for your foot? Were you thinking about coming back? Were you thinking about retire? I mean, how serious did they say a broken foot? I
Well, for
know.
me, for
Yeah.
me, that was the first major like injury I had ever had. So it was like I didn't know what to expect, what to think, how I was gonna rehab, if it was even gonna heal. Because even though I got sent home, they gave me 6 weeks to be like, okay, we're gonna see if you're gonna be able to run, and they did all the treatment they could do, and it did not heal. I end up really being out like maybe 3 months from the foot, even for it to even heal for me to do anything. Just like a light jog. It took 3 months, so it took a long time for my foot to heal. But I feel like bone injuries in the foot are very, tricky, and yeah, it's just tough when it's anything dealing with like the foot or anything like that. It's like all my injuries came on the left side. It's never on the right side, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it's like my Achilles I hurt last year, left. Foot, my second metatarsal, left foot. Same foot, always on the left side, never on the right,
So what's
which
your
is
theory
crazy.
on that? What and there's got you got to have a theory on that.
I don't know. I think like maybe when I did break that metatarsal, I lost a lot of mobility in that ankle, so I never like really got it mobile like it's supposed to. Like I told you, like I had a strength trainer before this one, and he, thrived on mobility and stuff like that, but I lost the strength. So I didn't have the strength when I once, I got the back running fast, and that's how, blew that tire last year. So I had to get the strength and the mobility back for this year. So it's going good so far. So I'm anxious to see where I am on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see both of you guys race, and Mike, I know you kind of did a lot of work here tonight. You spent the whole hour here. And we were
I know,
just doing
right?
you and me were just doing one-on-one for about 35 minutes of it, So
Yeah, we was kicking it like we, was at the house talking,
Important to
having a
have.
conversation.
We didn't have Mike in Bermuda. We didn't have Mike in Bermuda, so it was important to have this moment with you,
Jess has got the
Bob, to
Bermuda
really
experience
share
going now.
in the sport. So it's very important that people could just hear from Mike and hear about his experiences, what he's gone through, any advice and wisdom that he had. It was important. That was very important. And I just came back. So, it was
Well,
important
I
to
mean,
have the one-on-one
Jess is
I feel like
breaking
some,
with
up, but
Mike.
I hear
yeah,
what
she
she's
she
saying.
break it up, but I feel like some people need to hear like, like a lot of younger athletes be like, oh man, the OGs don't tell us nothing, man. They don't tell us nothing. But man, just ask. We ain't finna volunteer information. But if you want to know, the DMs are always open, or you can ask me for, my phone number to ask. Like it's like they're scared to like talk to us. Like you guys are on the same level as us now. Like you want to know something, ask, because we've been there, done that. A lot of people be like, man, what can I do to get to the next level? Or what is he doing to be around for so long? Ask.
Yeah.
It take 2 seconds to ask, like, hey man, what's up? 2 seconds. That's it. Like you might think you know everything, but you don't. Like you don't. Like I've asked many sprinters all over the world, like, hey man, what are you doing? To get better at this, because everybody's good at something. Everybody has their specialty in something, but people are not smart enough or just prideful, too prideful, to ask for help. Like, I mean, everybody wants to be the best, but you gotta figure out and put together some pieces to be the best. And I'm gonna tell you, one athlete who did that in 2016 when we were at the Olympic Games was Christian Coleman.
Mm.
Christian Coleman sat there in every room, soaked up everything he could. Next year, he was the best sprinter in the world. That
That's
young
amazing.
man, he is really in tune with his event. I can tell you that. I'll tell you that much. He soaked up every conversation. Like he would be around like all the older athletes, and he didn't talk much when he was at the Olympics, but you could tell he soaked up everything because that next year he was on the next level. And that's how a lot of these athletes are now. That's how I think the game has changed, because they're starting to see, oh, this guy's been around for so long. Let me go look and see what he was doing. And that's the
Well,
difference.
with all of you guys, I mean, you're competing at such a high level that, and the difference between, I mean, in any given race, the difference between you guys can be this much between
Yeah.
first and third or first and fifth, or, so finding that little extra edge. And then if you accumulate all those little edges, Devin Allen always says get 1% better a year. If you keep doing that, and he's like, you're going to go from, you know, in hurdles from 13 whatever down to 12.5 or something before you know it. You know, some crazy numbers, but it's that finding that edge, right, is what you guys are looking for constantly.
Yeah, for sure.
So Jess, you're popping in and out. Let's let Mike go. Let's see if we can wrap up the show here. Mike, really appreciate you coming back on, especially after our difficulties last time.
Oh man, all good, man. We ain't on that Bermuda Wi-Fi no more, man. That's that cricket Wi-Fi. We good now. Thanks for having me, guys.
I can't wait to shoot with you when we see you live and in person. So I'm sure we'll be seeing you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Bye.
All right.
Jess, are you there? You're
Yeah.
choppy. You're kind of in and out. I can hear you now a little bit.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's so crazy. Yeah, I can hear you. I could see y'all. I can even see myself. And I got 3 bars, but it's probably because I'm on my phone.
Yeah, it's just getting a little choppy. That's all right. I thought it was a really good show.
Okay.
Again, you know, we always have to have a little curveball here or there to know that we're not robots, you know. So it was a fun conversation with Mike. I'm glad that you got something to eat. If you did you eat yet?
No, I haven't got. No, they're
Okay.
inside, so they're waiting.
So
on
we gotta wrap this up, and you better go eat. So good luck. I'll be
Thank
watching,
you.
and then we'll connect.
Okay.
We'll connect back on Monday. Thanks, Jess.
Yes, I'll be at home on Monday. So.
All right. Good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon. And again, follow World's Greatest on Instagram, World's Greatest Team. Twitter is World's Greatest without the vowels. And YouTube is just World's Greatest. So we'll see you on Monday. I'm not remembering who our guest is on Monday, but we have more guests lined up. We actually may be with Devin Allen next week, so it should be a really interesting week's worth of shows. And thanks, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.